The thought that Trump could make it to where you don't even have to acknowledge your child. You don't have to be present in that child's life, do anything really. And when taxes come, then you can claim the child.
I'm really just up because I need somebody to talk to. Like, this single mom shit is starting to get to me.
A week later, she called me. She said, "Dad, I'm hungry. Can you send me something to eat or bring me some food?" I said, "No. How your mama do it?" She said, "My mom said she don't have money to buy groceries or food." I'm like, "Oh, you mean to tell me you can't buy groceries with your freedom?" She said, "No." I said, "Well, I guess money is kind of important, ain't it?" She said, "Daddy, I understand now." I said, "No, you don't." So I FaceTimed her and propped the phone up at the dinner table and let her watch me and her siblings enjoy dinner while she sat there hungry.
Hello fam, how are you all doing? I hope you all are doing good. Let's talk about this new Trump's child support law, although he hasn't made the law yet. But the problem here is this: some people are saying he never tweeted that, while some people are claiming it was a tweet. I haven't seen the original thread. This is what I saw about it. On Fox 43, Trump's new child support law will be crazy. Basically, if you put someone on child support, you will no longer be able to claim the child on your taxes. Only the person who is paying the child support can. That will be crazy, honestly. So people were reacting, especially women. They were not happy. Of course, you don't expect women to be happy. Let's say you have a deadbeat father that pays only, let's say, $100 for child support, and that child is with that woman. She's the one breaking her back to take care of that child. And now, if what he's saying is true, and should he pass this into law, that means the deadbeat father will be claiming the taxes, which doesn't make sense. Anyways, like I said, it is alleged and people have different things to say. Let's hear what people are saying about it.
The thought that Trump could make it to where you don't even have to acknowledge your child. You don't have to be present in that child's life, do anything really. And when taxes come, then you can claim the child and get the benefits from the child that you don't acknowledge, visit, pay anything for. That's wild. I don't think it's something that is actually going to happen, but I don't see the benefit in what it does anyways. I mean, there's literally people who have signed their rights away to a child. So what gives them the right to now get a tax credit from that? What is the mode of thinking here that would even be, beneficial, positive, any kind of way that pushes co-parenting forward?
So who gets to claim the child on the taxes? Let's talk about it, because I've been getting tagged in all of the videos discussing this alleged proposal that Trump tweeted that basically said if you're the parent that is paying child support, that you will by default get to claim the child on the taxes every single year. And so let's preface this video by saying it is merely a tweet. It is merely a proposal. It is merely something that Trump may be seeking to introduce as he assumes the presidency. In other words, it is not current law. So let's talk about what is law. Right now, federal law says that the custodial parent that has the child the majority of the time throughout the year is the parent that gets to claim the child on the taxes every single year. What does that mean here in Texas? If you have a court order that says you and your co-parent are going to take turns claiming the child on your taxes, so maybe y'all are going to alternate years. If he decides to claim the child on a year that is technically your year, it's not like the IRS is going to go reading your divorce decree and saying, you know what, you're right. Like, it was actually mom's year, but dad claimed. And so if anything, it's the IRS, right? You may have a contractual claim against him in civil court, but federal law is federal law, and federal law says that right now the primary parent gets to claim the child every single year. In other words, you know that I represent a lot of moms, and so it's not uncommon to see the mom be the primary parent, and sometimes they'll say, well, I want to claim the child every single year, and I'm like, yeah, we're going to stay silent as to that issue because federal law is already in your favor. Absent an agreement in your order, absent any other language in your order that says otherwise, primary parent gets to claim the child on their taxes every single year as of right now. That's not to say that Trump wouldn't be actually seeking to introduce this new proposal that says the parent paying child support would be the one to claim every single year. And so if this law actually does take into effect, consult with a lawyer near you, because there's a chance that even if it did take into effect, it would not supersede the contractual agreement that you have in your court order that says y'all are going to alternate years. If your order is silent as to, who gets to claim the child on your taxes, and it could affect you. So always consult with an attorney. This is not legal advice. I just wanted to clear the air and say that this is not new law that has taken into effect. So everybody stop freaking out. I will post updates as the story develops.
I'm so scared about this. My taxes is all that saves me as a single mom. Only because dad never sees them. Doesn't pay child support like he is supposed to. I have sole custody of my son. My ex pays child support, but he hasn't paid since November. Can he claim my son? Also, he never sees my son. I'm glad you brought this up because I have my children 90% of the time. Dad just actually started paying child support of $250 a month for 3 children. Like I said, I didn't see the tweet, but people are claiming he made that tweet. Thinking about it, does it make sense logically? What is the motive behind that? Should he make that a thing? If he does that, that will be him encouraging men to be irresponsible more. That will be him encouraging men to have kids everywhere, because that's what deadbeat men will do. They'll be like, okay, there is money if I have a lot of children. So they'll go around having a lot of children and not being responsible. They will be giving the bare minimum and expecting a lot in return, if you get what I mean. I don't think this whole stuff makes sense. He shouldn't think about making it a law. Like people said, it's a tweet. I didn't see the tweet myself.
I'm really just up because I need somebody to talk to. Like, this single mom shit is starting to get to me. Okay? It's starting to get to me. So I had to compose myself because I'm literally keep crying. Like, y'all, this is so hard. Every time I feel like I'm doing good, I go back. Okay. So boom. Okay. My kids' daycare, I just got school readiness, like assistance to help, right? So they helping me, and then turn around, like, okay, before that, fuck all that, before that, I ain't paid my rent. Like, my rent ain't even paid, still ain't paid. And I was like, asking my daycare, like, oh, basically, like, oh, can y'all work with me so I can pay my rent and I can pay y'all like next week? No, if y'all don't pay, they can't come or some shit. I'm like, damn, that's crazy. So I had no choice but to pay the daycare, or they couldn't go to school because guess why? Guess what? I have to work. Okay, I make $20 and I'm raising 3 kids. So $20 for 4 people, $20 an hour for 4 people, that's not enough. Okay, it's not enough. So the school's like, oh, you can either pay the $156 or they can't go. So I paid the $156, and now my rent late, so now I gotta pay like $1,900 for my rent, right? Okay, so now I'm paying the rent late. I'm gonna pay it Friday, and here they go with this New Year's registration free or something like that. And keep in mind, I just paid the $156, so that's the weekly school registration that I pay with, like with the school readiness assistance. Yeah, whatever. Okay, so I get to their daycare this morning, and they're like, oh, did you know, like, you didn't pay the New Year renewal fee or some shit like that? And I'm like, okay, well, how much is that? Y'all, $200 something for Rylan, and like $100 something. They're asking me next week to pay almost $400. No. It is $400 because $156 weekly. That's what I pay, and then they're asking me to pay over that. So 2 plus, that's $400 and something that they asking me to pay next week. It's like $478. And I was asking them, like, is there any way that I can make a payment plan? Because babes, I can't afford that. If I'm on school readiness, why do you think I can afford that, right? Okay, so boom, I'm asking, like, my 2 older kids, they have their dad, and then Rylan, my little one, has a dad. Their dad paid child support, so I don't have to, worry about it. Like, I use his money strictly for the kids. Like, I put it straight towards her, her tuition and shit like that. It ain't no money, like, it ain't no more. Like, it was only enough to pay for her shit. If I would have been, some shit, I would have paid Rylan's on with their dad money, and I wouldn't have cared, but I can't, because there's nothing. So I asked her dad, like, oh, can you help me? Like, can you help me? Y'all, keep in mind, this wanted the baby. Like, keep in mind, this had my ovulation tracking his phone. Keep in mind, this planned to get me pregnant. Like, he planned to get me pregnant, knowing I didn't want a third child, because I was already like, it was not hard, but it was going to be hard if I had another kid. Like, I knew I wouldn't be able to afford having 3 kids. And guess what? I had a third kid. Okay, y'all gonna be like, oh, you should use protection, blah, blah, blah. I don't give a opinions. Y'all not me. Y'all don't know the life I live. I don't give a so I don't care. I don't care. So I asked him for help, and he's asked every excuse. Y'all keep in mind, I was struggling last year. Like, it was like one point of last year I was struggling. I didn't get none of my taxes. The girl ran off. Like, the girl who's supposed to be my best friend, she took the money. I don't know if she took it or somebody took it, but I don't have it. And so I told him to file our daughter, you know, because me and him was on good terms. Like, I thought we was. So I asked him, like, oh, to file her. He like, okay, cool, this, that, and third. He files our daughter, y'all. Tell me why he files her. Months go by, and I'm not hearing nothing, like, no money. Like, he's knowing I need it because I can't afford this apartment, because this apartment is like $1,700. And he like, oh, when I get it, I'm gonna give it to you. It was like, he got back like almost $4,000 for her, y'all. He don't work. So when the money came, he threw it up in my face and laughed and told me that he wasn't giving it to me, and he used it for drugs. Like, he used it for money for himself. And
you can go over to her channel and watch the rest of it. I'm not going to sit here and judge her. I don't know exactly what her situation is. Like she said, that we don't know. Yeah. But she did mention that the man does drug. He doesn't work. That is one of the child's father. He filed for the taxes, but he didn't give it to her. She's staying in a house that the rent is $1,700 a month. She said she earns $2,400 a month. She pays for daycare, $150 a week for one child, I suppose. That's a lot. For me, if I were to be in this situation, do you know what I would do? I know houses are expensive. I think cutting down on the rent is the best way to go. Then maybe getting a higher paying job, or having a side hustle or an extra job. I know she has kids to take care of. It's going to be very difficult. Her depending on the baby fathers, I don't think that's going to help anyway, because she already said they contribute, and whatever they give is not enough. So imagine the president passing that law. What do you think is going to happen to her? What do you think would be her fate? What do you think is going to happen to her? She's already in a tight corner. I'm never going to say, oh, choose better. Like I said, I don't know what her situation is. Someone can be good today and turns bad tomorrow. It's always important for you to have a child that you can cater for. While she was talking, at some point, I heard her blame the man for making her have the third child. She said she didn't want to. He, in a way, coerced her into having that child. It does happen, baby trapping. If you watch this Young Africa and Famous, it's on Netflix. What Diamond said there really got me, and this is something we'll be talking about. He said marrying a woman is not what they want. That's for those toxic masculine men, those narcissists. Having a child with that woman will forever have him in the life of that woman. So that is the plan. A lot of men think that way. Their plan is to get you pregnant. Once you have the child, they have their footprint in your life. They can always come back to you. They can always have access to you because you have their child. A lot of men are intentional, and that was what Diamond was doing. He said it. Men are very intentional when it comes to baby trapping women. I know some women do say, oh, it's not possible. How can you be baby trapped? No, you have control of your VJJ and you should use contraceptives and all that. Some people can be corny. Some men can be malicious. Some men can be tricky, manipulative. So don't say, oh, it's not possible. You might think you're smart, but a manipulative person, someone that is very strategic and very manipulative, can conquer you, can make you do things you didn't plan to do. You get what I mean? So don't just stay and talk down on people that are in that situation, because it might happen to you tomorrow. Let's have a look at some comments. My own husband can't convince me to have another child. I'm true and true because I know I can maintain 2 on my own. Not a soul can convince me to have more children. Having more than you can handle is on you. She's right. It's important for you as a woman to have the number of children that you can personally take care of. Do not have a child hoping that your husband is going to be the one to take care of that child. What happens if your husband is no longer available? What happens should that man leave you? Think about it. Girl, I have 2 daughters. I know exactly what you're talking about. It's always something coming up and we never have help. Don't have siblings to watch them or anything. I have 6 kids and make $15 per hour and work 50 hours a week. Girl, I completely understand. I just got us out of being homeless, living in a tent with all my kids.
Ladies, if you are thinking about having kids, if you are thinking about having another kid, only consider having a child if you are fully prepared to raise them by yourself. I don't care if you're married. I don't care if you're in the best relationship. You guys are soulmates. That person may not be there forever, okay? But more so than just taking care of the child, financially, if you are not able to take care of a child fully by yourself, you do not need to be having one. When a relationship ends, everyone is hurting and everyone, goes through their mourning phase to death and you go through that process. And ladies, when you finally start getting yourself together and loving yourself and you no longer make him a priority, you're not checking his social media, you're not worried about him, the only way he can get to you is through those children. He will do whatever he can to get to you, to disrupt your peace, to slow you down, to stop your glow up. And they do it through money. They know that it is almost impossible to raise a child on one income in this society. They know that you both agreed when you had the baby that it was a team effort. But a lot of men, when things are not going their way, when they are mad at you, when they see you are moving on, when they see that they don't have the ability to ruffle your feathers emotionally, you don't care who they're with, you don't care what they're doing, you don't care why they're doing it. He is a thing of the past. The only thing that he has is the ability to control you through money. He will either give you nothing at all or make promises that you then depend on, and then he won't come through and you are stuck. Most mothers, when you are a good mother and your child comes to you and says, I want to do gymnastics, I want to be in the band, I want to play football, and all of this stuff costs money. Good mothers don't say we can't afford it. Good mothers don't say no. You know what good mothers say? Give me some time to figure it out. And that's when the sleepless nights come in. That's when you get a second and third job. We get used to doing it by ourselves. We get used to being the one to be at the doctor's appointments and the teachers' conferences and getting the kids ready for school and figuring out the daycare and the childcare. We get used to that. We rise to the occasion. Where we hurt the most is financially. And if you can get yourself in a position where whether or not he does the right thing, you guys will be okay, I promise you, your life will change for the better. Your stress level will change for the better. You do not have to hold yourself hostage depending on his behavior. So if you are not at a point in your life where you can do that, don't have another kid. Even if you're a stay-at-home mom, at least have a skill, at least have something that you can fall back on financially, so that if in the event you are the sole person caring for these kids, you are always able to provide for them. Because I'm telling you, I don't care how good a man is, how great the relationship is, when he cannot get to you emotionally, he will try to get to you financially. And the best way to protect yourself is to be able to provide for you and your children. Is he still responsible for those kids financially and doing his part? Of course. But whether or not he does, you guys will be okay. That's the position that you need to make sure that you are in before you ever have a child. Otherwise, you will be stressed out.
She's 100% right. Don't have kids you can't take care of. I know sometimes mistakes do happen. Aside that, do not intentionally have kids because a man wants you to. Ask yourself if you can take care of those kids. Let's have a look at the comment section. I already told him the day we get divorced, he's going to take the kids. I really don't care. I'm having the kids for him in the first place. When you use the advice she's giving, I promise you will grow, glow, and you will be mentally stable. Mom of one, hubby passed from cancer 10 years ago, haven't worked in 12 years thanks to him. Be careful who you have kids with. When I was pregnant, my cousin said, you know that's your baby and no one else's. The cousin is right. It's your child. The man can decide to walk away, but you as the mom, it's always hard for moms to do that. So you need to think twice.
My daughter went to go move with her mom permanently. She said, Dad, I love you, but I want to go live with my mom. I'm like, baby, what's wrong? She said, nothing. I just feel like you way too strict. I'm like, you 8 years old. Like, it's just certain stuff you can't do. She said, I get that, but I want to go live with my mom. I'm like, baby, your mom don't have the finances to take care of you, which is why you live with me. She said, Dad, money ain't everything. I'm like, well, what is then? She said, freedom. Say less. I let her go live with her mama. A week later, she called me. She said, Dad, I'm hungry. Can you send me something to eat or bring me some food? I said, no. How your mama do it? She said, my mom said she don't have money to buy groceries or food. I'm like, oh, you mean to tell me you can't buy groceries with your freedom? She said, no. I said, well, I guess money is kind of important, ain't it? She said, Daddy, I understand now. I said, no, you don't. So I FaceTimed her and propped the phone up at the dinner table and let her watch me and her siblings enjoy dinner while she sat there hungry.
Somebody make this shit make sense, because it's eluding me right now. It don't make no damn sense. You are a grown ass man. You are a grown man and you have a child that you helped bring into this world. And when this child says, I don't want to live with you no more, I can understand why. Now, I can get it. You're hurt. You're hurt because you love your daughter and you wanted your daughter to stay with you. And, you know, it was a better situation for her, according to you. However, if you do this, that means you've done similar things. And if you've done similar things, I can see why she doesn't want to live with you. Because who in their right mind, after giving life to a child, you then say, when they make you upset or hurt you, that you're not going to feed them. And not only are you going to do that, you're going to set up your camera, call them on FaceTime so they can watch you and your siblings eat while they're hungry. That is not mean. That is not strict. That is cruel. That is some next level that you, a grown man, should not be involved with. You should be ashamed of yourself. But here's the kicker. There are people who can help you unpack, process, and get rid of a lot of that trauma that you're dealing with. Because I'm pretty sure somebody else did this type of as well. I'm pretty sure you had a parent or a grandparent or somebody that you were very close to do the same. You never learned how to process that. And so instead of you healing from it, you just put that on your child. And what you also don't realize is that this is also going to cause issues with her siblings, because she can grow up to resent her siblings because you took care of them and you didn't take care of her, all because she made you mad and you did not know how to get over it because you're still emotionally stunted. That is a problem. And let's also talk about the fact that you're setting up a precedence for who she starts to date, who she finds attractive, what she interprets as love. Because if she loves you and you say you love her, but then you do shit like this, I guarantee you she's going to try to find a man who's going to do the same stuff to her and dangle stuff in front of her, dangle money, dangle necessities, dangle love in front of her. Do you really want your daughter to be involved with somebody who treats her the way that you treat her? If you don't, why would you treat her the way you don't want somebody else to treat her? What is your end goal with parenting? That's the question all of us need to be asking ourselves.
Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section. If you would love to watch more videos like this, click this video to watch how men use pregnancy to baby trap women. And I will see you all in the next one.